Aaron stared at his kitchen, a sigh escaping his lips. It wasn't just old, it was tired. The countertops were chipped, the cabinets sagged, and the once bright linoleum floor had faded to a dismal gray. He'd dreamt of a sleek, modern space for ages, a place where cooking felt like a joy, not a chore. Now, with the first swing of a sledgehammer looming, he felt a wave of pure dread. This was bigger than he'd imagined, heavier than he'd planned. He wasn't exactly a handy guy, and the thought of tackling this monster alone made his stomach churn. He scrolled through his phone, past numbers for plumbers and electricians, until he found it. Noah's contact. Noah was a contractor, known for turning dreary spaces into dreams. More than that, though, Noah was known for his easy smile and a way of making even the most stressful projects feel fun. Aaron had met him at a friend barbecue a few months back. Noah had been effortlessly charming, his laughter echoing across the yard, and Aaron remembered thinking, even then, that he wouldn't mind having that kind of energy around. After a moment of hesitation, Aaron pressed the call button. "Hey, Noah, it's Aaron," he began, a little unsure. "From Sarah's barbecue? Look, I'm trying to remodel my kitchen, and honestly, I'm a bit overwhelmed. It's a lot." He chuckled nervously, glancing around at the mess he hadn't even started to make. Noah's voice, warm and steady, came through the phone. "Aaron, of course, I remember you. Overwhelmed, huh? That's what I'm here for. Kitchens are my specialty, turning chaos into culinary castles." He laughed, a deep, comforting sound. "Tell you what, I'm free this afternoon. How about I swing by, take a look, and we can chat about it? No pressure, just a friendly assessment." A wave of relief washed over Aaron. "That would be amazing, Noah. Really, thank you." A few hours later, a beat-up but sturdy pickup truck pulled into Aaron's driveway. Noah emerged, a wide grin on his face, a tape measure hooked to his jeans, and a canvas tool belt slung over his shoulder. He looked exactly as Aaron remembered, tall, with a strong build, kind eyes, and a perpetually cheerful expression. His short, dark hair was a little messy, as if he'd just run his hand through it. "Aaron, ready to tackle this beast?" Noah strode up the path, extending a hand that was firm and calloused. "Don't worry, every grand project starts with a little bit of oh dear. That's where I come in." Aaron led him inside, feeling a flutter of nerves mixed with a growing sense of excitement. "Beast is right," he agreed, gesturing around the tired kitchen. "I have some ideas, but I just don't know where to even begin." Noah walked into the kitchen, his eyes scanning every corner. He moved with a confident ease that instantly calmed Aaron's anxieties. "I see potential, my friend. Lots and lots of potential. This kitchen is just waiting for its glow-up." He turned to Aaron, his eyes twinkling playfully. "So what's the dream? Are we talking sleek, modern, cozy farmhouse, or something in between?" Noah's question about Aaron's kitchen dreams hung in the air, but it wasn't heavy, it was exciting. Aaron felt his shoulders relax for the first time that day. Noah wasn't just a contractor. He was a walking dose of good cheer. "Definitely sleek modern, I think," Aaron replied, finding his voice gaining confidence. "Lots of clean lines, maybe a big island in the middle. I want it to feel bright and open, not so cluttered." He waved a hand vaguely at the dark, heavy cabinets. Noah nodded, his eyes sparkling as he pulled out a small notepad and pencil. "Ah, a man after my own heart. Clutter is the enemy of culinary creativity. We'll banish it to the land of forgotten spices." He scribbled something down, then looked up, a playful glint in his eyes. "So, you're looking for a kitchen that says, 'Come on in, but please no sticky fingers on my pristine surfaces,' right?" Aaron laughed, a genuine, hearty sound. "Exactly, though I might make an exception for good company." He caught Noah's gaze, and for a fleeting moment, a spark passed between them that wasn't just about kitchen designs. Noah winked. "Good to know. I'll make sure to bring my own coaster." He then got serious, but only for a moment, as he began to measure the walls with practiced ease. "All right, let's talk about those cabinets. These old beasts are probably bolted in like Fort Knox. We'll need some muscle to get them out. Are you ready to flex those biceps, Aaron, or are you more of a supervisory role kind of guy?" Aaron grinned, feeling a surge of energy he hadn't known he possessed. I'm ready for anything you throw at me, Noah. Just point me in the right direction. I'm not afraid of a little sweat. That's the spirit. Noah clapped him lightly on the shoulder. Good, because Demolition Day is less about finesse and more about brute force. And maybe a little bit of controlled chaos. He walked over to one of the upper cabinets, tapping it. These look like they've been here since dinosaurs roamed the earth. We'll start with these. You could be my official hold things steady, so they don't crash onto my very expensive head assistant. Aaron felt a warmth spread through him. Noah's playful teasing made the daunting task ahead seem less like a chore and more like an adventure. I think I can handle that, Aaron said, a smile still on his face. Just tell me when to duck. Excellent, Noah declared, his enthusiasm infectious. First things first, though, we need to clear out all the dishes and pots. You wouldn't want your grandmother's gravy boat becoming a casualty of war, would you? He gestured to the packed shelves. Operation Gravy Boat Rescue commences now. As they started emptying cabinets, Noah's constant stream of jokes and good-natured jabs kept the atmosphere light. He teased Aaron about his collection of mismatched coffee mugs and a rather alarming number of spatulas. Aaron, in turn, joked about Noah's meticulously organized tool belt, which looked ready for a surgical operation rather than a demolition. In just a short time, Noah had managed to turn Aaron's dread into delight. The kitchen, once a source of anxiety, now buzzed with the promise of transformation, and Aaron found himself looking forward to every step of the journey, especially with Noah by his side. The next morning, the kitchen was transformed from a cluttered storage space into a battleground. Dishes, pots, and Aaron's excessive spatula collection were safely boxed away in the living room. Noah arrived, armed with safety goggles, gloves, and an even bigger grin than before. All right, soldier, Demolition Day has dawned, Noah announced, handing Aaron a pair of thick work gloves. First rule of Demo Day, always protect your eyes. Second rule, never underestimate the stubbornness of an old cabinet. Aaron strapped on the goggles, feeling a thrill of anticipation. Ready when you are, General. Noah pointed to the upper cabinets. We'll start up top. I'll loosen the screws. You'll be my catcher. These things can come down faster than you think, and we don't want any broken toes. He grabbed a power drill, the whirring sound filling the kitchen. As Noah expertly unscrewed the cabinets, Aaron positioned himself, arms outstretched. The first cabinet creaked, then groaned, and with a final rattle, Noah signaled, "Heads up." Aaron braced himself, catching the heavy wooden box as Noah carefully lowered it. It was heavier than it looked, and Aaron grunted with effort. "Whoa there, big guy. You almost lost that one," Noah teased, wiping a bead of sweat from his brow. "Good catch, though. See? You're natural." They continued, a rhythm quickly forming. Noah would drill and loosen, calling out warnings, and Aaron would catch and carry the freed cabinets out to the driveway. The work was physical, and soon, sweat began to prickle Aaron's forehead and trickle down his back. His shirt, once clean, quickly became smudged with dust and grime. But instead of feeling exhausted, he felt invigorated. "You know," Aaron huffed, carrying a particularly heavy base cabinet, "I think my gym membership is going to be very jealous of this workout." Noah laughed, the sound hearty and warm. He was wrestling with a stubborn old pantry unit, his muscles straining under his t-shirt. "Forget the gym, Aaron. This is real-world strength training. Plus, you get a beautiful kitchen at the end of it, not just sore muscles." He gave a mighty tug, and the pantry unit finally detached with a loud crack. "Victory! Or maybe just a few splinters," Aaron retorted, grinning. He wiped his brow with the back of his gloved hand. The air was thick with dust, and the scent of old wood and exertion filled the space. As they worked, their banter flowed easily. Noah kept up a running commentary, mixing instructions with jokes. "Watch out for that rogue screw. It's got a vendetta against shoelaces." Or, when Aaron almost dropped a particularly unwieldy door, "Careful, that's vintage. Might be worth millions." To a woodworm. Aaron found himself laughing more than he thought possible while tearing apart his own kitchen. Noah's energy was contagious, turning what could have been a tedious, back-breaking chore into a playful challenge. The sweat was real, the effort was real, but the heavy feeling of dread was long gone, replaced by a sense of shared purpose and light-hearted camaraderie. The rhythmic sounds of tools, grunts of effort, and their easy jokes became the soundtrack to their demolition dance. With the cabinets vanquished, only one major adversary remained: the old countertop. It was a battleship of a thing, made of thick, patterned laminate that had seen decades of spilled coffee and forgotten crumbs. It seemed determined to cling to its past, resisting every attempt to dislodge it. "All right, Aaron, this is where we separate the men from the boys," Noah announced, wiping sweat from his forehead with the back of his hand. His t-shirt, now clinging to his broad shoulders, was damp. Aaron felt his own shirt sticking to his skin, a fine layer of dust coating his forearms. "This countertop looks like it was installed by giants. We're going to have to work together on this one. It's heavy, and it's awkward." Noah circled the counter, tapping it in various places. "See these little clips underneath? They're holding on for dear life. I'll get the ones in the back, and you tackle the front. Once they're loose, we'll lift it together. Ready for some synchronized heaving?" Aaron nodded, a fresh wave of determination coursing through him. He knelt down, fumbling a bit with the screwdriver, trying to reach the stubborn clips. Synchronized heaving sounds like a new Olympic sport. It is in the world of home renovation. Noah called out from behind the counter, his voice a little muffled. "And we're going for gold." The first few clips were easy, but then they hit a snag. One particularly rusty clip refused to budge. Aaron grunted, twisting the screwdriver with all his might. "This one feels like it's welded on. Don't let it win." Noah, encouraged, emerging from the back, his face flushed from the effort. He knelt beside Aaron, their shoulders almost touching. The scent of sweat and something uniquely masculine, perhaps with dust and Noah's cologne, filled Aaron's senses. Noah reached over, his hand brushing Aaron's as he took the screwdriver. "Here, let me try that angle." He applied pressure, a vein popping out on his forearm. With a final determined twist, the clip finally snapped free with a metallic ping. "Ah, take that, you rusty menace," Noah exclaimed, a triumphant grin on his face. "Nice work, superhero," Aaron teased, a little breathless from the close proximity and the unexpected jolt of Noah's touch. "Just doing my job, citizen," Noah replied, his eyes sparkling. "All right, all clips are free. Now for the main event." He stood up, positioning himself at one end of the long countertop. "I'll take this side, you take that. We'll lift on the count of 3. Remember, keep your back straight, lift with your legs. Don't want any heroism resulting in a trip to the chiropractor." Aaron mirrored Noah's stance, planting his feet firmly. The countertop loomed, dark and imposing. "Got it. 1, 2, 3. Noah grunted. They lifted, the combined weight of the laminate and particle board groaning under their hands. It was incredibly heavy, forcing them closer together as they strained. Aaron felt Noah's shoulder press against his as they shuffled, trying to get a better grip. The sheer size of the countertop meant they were practically hugging it, their bodies pressed against each other. "Okay, slow and steady," Noah gasped, his voice tight with effort. "We're almost clear of the base cabinets. Just a few more steps. To the door." Aaron's muscles burned, but he pushed through it, fueled by Noah's determined grunts beside him. The intimacy of the shared struggle, the close contact, the smell of sweat. It was intense, a raw, primal connection forged in the heart of demolition. They managed to hoist it out the back door and drop it with a satisfying thud onto the growing pile of debris outside. They stood panting, hands on their knees, catching their breath. The silence was thick with exertion, punctuated only by their heavy breathing. Aaron looked at Noah, his face streaked with dirt and sweat, but glowing with triumph. "We did it," Aaron managed, a wide, tired grin spreading across his face. "We did," Noah echoed, a similar grin splitting his face. He looked at Aaron, and in his eyes, Aaron saw not just pride, but something deeper, something warm and appreciative. The shared effort had created a palpable bond between them. With the old countertop finally out, the kitchen felt strangely hollow, yet also full of promise. The air was still thick with dust, but the biggest, dirtiest parts of demolition were done. Aaron, still catching his breath, felt a deep sense of accomplishment. Man, that was a workout, Aaron gasped, pushing his goggles up onto his forehead. His hair was damp and stuck to his temples. Noah nodded, pulling off his gloves. Definitely earned our lunch break. You did great, Aaron. Strong like bull. He winked, a playful glint in his eyes. Thanks, I think. Aaron chuckled, feeling a blush creep up his neck. You too. I thought that countertop was going to win. Never underestimate the power of two determined men and a good old-fashioned grunt, Noah declared. Speaking of which, I've got a cooler in the truck. How about some ice-cold water or soda? My treat. Sounds like heaven, Aaron said, already heading for the living room to grab a towel. He quickly wiped his face, trying to get rid of some of the grime, then returned to find Noah handing him a frosty can of soda. The cold metal felt amazing against his hot hands. They sat on the floor amidst the dust sheets, leaning against a wall that was now bare where cabinets once hung. The silence was comfortable, filled only with the soft hiss of their sodas and the distant chirping of birds. The harsh lines of the demolished kitchen seemed to soften under the afternoon light. So, what made you decide to tackle a kitchen remodel now? Noah asked, taking a long sip of his drink. His gaze was relaxed, friendly. Aaron shrugged. It's been a long time coming. I bought this house a few years ago, and everything else has been updated. The kitchen was always the big project I kept putting off. It just felt too big. He paused, taking a sip. And then I met you, and you made it sound less like a chore and more like an adventure. He smiled shyly. Noah grinned, a genuine, open smile. Glad I could inspire. It's true, renovations can be fun, especially when you have good company. He leaned back, stretching his long legs out. What do you do when you're not battling ancient laminate, Aaron? I'm a graphic designer, Aaron replied, feeling more relaxed now. I spend my days staring at screens, making things look pretty. So this, he gestured around the dusty, dismantled kitchen, is a bit of a change of pace. Ah, creative soul, Noah exclaimed. That makes sense. You got a good eye for how things should look. I'm more of a make things functional and sturdy kind of guy, but I appreciate good design. He took another sip. Any hobbies outside of work and home improvement? Besides collecting spatulas, of course. Aaron laughed. Hey, those spatulas are crucial. And yes, I like to hike, try new restaurants, and I'm a big movie buff. What about you, Mr. Contractor? All work and no play. Noah chuckled. Never. I love to fish, and I'm a terrible but enthusiastic cook. My specialty is anything grilled, and I try to catch a live music show whenever I can. There's nothing like a good band to shake off the sawdust. Their conversation flowed easily, lighthearted and personal. They talked about favorite hiking trails, the best pizza places in town, and even shared a funny story or two about disastrous cooking attempts. The kitchen, with its exposed studs and dusty floor, no longer felt like a construction site, but a comfortable, domestic space where two people were simply getting to know each other, sharing laughter and cold drinks. The hard work had created a bond, and this break was deepening it, moving beyond client and contractor to something more. After their refreshing break, the mood was lighter, more personal. The dust from demolition had settled, literally and figuratively, and a new phase of the remodel began. Out with the old, in with the new. The delivery of the sleek, modern cabinets Aaron had chosen felt like Christmas morning. They were flat-packed, requiring assembly before installation, which Noah assured Aaron was like adult Lego, but with more swearing. All right, Aaron, this is where your graphic designer precision comes in handy, Noah announced, pulling out an instruction manual that looked more like an engineering textbook. Each piece has a place, and every screw counts. Don't want any wobbly doors, do we? Aaron chuckled, taking a piece of wood and trying to match it to the diagram. I'll do my best not to build a crooked kitchen, though I might need a bit of guidance. That's what I'm here for, Noah said, his voice warm. He began to lay out pieces, his movements efficient and practiced. Think of me as your personal, highly skilled cabinet whisperer. As they started assembling the cabinets, the work became less about brute force and more about careful alignment and exact measurements. This was a different kind of challenge, one that required patience and a steady hand. Aaron found himself struggling with some of the trickier connections. "Hold this piece right here," Noah instructed, his voice close behind Aaron. Noah leaned in, his arm brushing Aaron's as he pointed to a small groove. "See? It slots in like this. If it's even a millimeter off, the whole thing will be wonky." Aaron felt a jolt at the closeness, a warmth spreading where their arms touched. Noah didn't seem to notice, or if he did, he didn't show it. He was focused on the task, his brow furrowed in concentration. He would often have to step in close, his hands guiding Aaron's to show him the precise angle or the correct way to hold a panel steady while a screw was driven in. Each time, Aaron felt a tingle, a pleasant awareness of Noah's presence. The scent of sawdust mingled with Noah's natural scent, a comforting, grounding aroma. No, like this," Noah said softly, reaching over Aaron's shoulder to adjust a piece of wood. His chest was almost against Aaron's back, and Aaron could feel the subtle warmth emanating from him. Noah's fingers, strong and calloused, brushed Aaron's as he demonstrated the correct grip. "You need to keep it perfectly level, or the door won't hang right." Aaron nodded, trying to focus on the cabinet, but keenly aware of Noah's proximity. He could feel Noah's breath on his ear and the soft rustle of Noah's shirt against his own. It was a pleasant kind of intimacy, a comfortable closeness born of shared work and a growing understanding. "There you go," Noah praised, stepping back slightly, though not entirely. "You're getting the hang of it, grasshopper." His teasing was gentle, an easy part of their rhythm. Aaron grinned, feeling a flush. "I told you I was a quick study. Just needed the right teacher." They spent the rest of the afternoon assembling the first few cabinets, their movements becoming more coordinated. The kitchen, once an empty shell, slowly began to take shape. Each successful assembly brought a small cheer from Noah and a quiet sense of pride from Aaron. The trickiness of the task meant constant close collaboration, and Aaron found himself secretly enjoying every moment of it. The subtle brushes, the shared focus, the easy laughter, it was all building something more than just a kitchen. The assembled base cabinets stood ready, looking pristine and promising. Now came the real challenge, getting them into place and securing them to the wall. This required more than just careful assembly. It demanded strength and precision, a delicate dance between brute force and gentle alignment. "All right, Aaron, this first one is a big boy," Noah said, patting the side of a wide base cabinet. "It goes right into that corner. We'll need to lift it together and then slide it into position. It's heavier than it looks, so let's make sure we lift with our legs, not our backs." Aaron nodded, flexing his fingers inside his gloves. He was still a bit sore from yesterday's demolition, but the excitement of seeing the new kitchen take shape spurred him on. He took one side of the cabinet, gripping the sturdy wood, while Noah took the other. "On three," Noah instructed, his voice steady. "1, 2, 3. They lifted. The cabinet, despite its empty interior, was surprisingly weighty. Aaron grunted, feeling the strain in his arms and shoulders. He focused on keeping it level, shuffling backward towards the designated corner. Noah was right beside him, his movements mirroring Aaron's, their bodies close as they navigated the awkward load. As they carefully maneuvered the cabinet, Noah shifted his grip. In doing so, his bare forearm brushed against Aaron's. It was a fleeting touch, skin against skin, warm and firm. But then, instead of pulling away immediately, Noah's arm lingered for just a beat longer than necessary. It wasn't a grab or a squeeze, just a prolonged contact, an almost imperceptible pause. Aaron felt it keenly. A spark, a tiny jolt, shot through him. His breath hitched, and for a split second, the heavy cabinet seemed to vanish from his awareness. All he could feel was the warmth of Noah's arm, the faint stubble against his skin, and the sudden, electric awareness that flared between them. He glanced at Noah, who was still focused on the cabinet, his jaw set in concentration. But then, As if sensing Aaron's gaze, Noah's eyes flickered to meet his. In that brief exchange, Aaron saw something in Noah's eyes, a flicker of acknowledgement, a subtle deepening of warmth that wasn't just about the effort of lifting. It was quick, almost gone before it registered, but it was there. The moment stretched, silent, and charged, even as their muscles strained under the weight. The world seemed to narrow to just the two of them, holding this heavy cabinet, their arms touching, their eyes locked. Okay, almost there. Noah finally murmured, his voice a little lower, a little softer than before. He broke eye contact, focusing back on the cabinet, and the spell was gently broken. His arm moved, and the contact was gone. They nudged the cabinet into its final position against the wall. With a final heave, it settled with a soft thud. Both men let out a collective sigh of relief, dropping their hands. Phew, Aaron said, a little breathlessly, not entirely from the exertion. That was a beast. Noah nodded, rubbing his forearm, the one that had brushed Aaron's. Yeah, but we tamed it. Good work, partner. His smile was back, easy and bright, but Aaron couldn't shake the feeling that something subtle, yet significant, had shifted between them. The air around them still hummed with the afterglow of that lingering touch. The base cabinet was finally in place, but the air around them felt different. It was thicker, warmer, charged with the unspoken energy of that lingering touch. Aaron tried to focus on the next step, on finding the right screws to secure the cabinet, but his mind kept replaying Noah's arm against his, the quick glance, the silent acknowledgement. Noah, ever the professional, smoothly moved on. All right, now that we got the foundation laid, let's get this bad boy secured. Aaron, can you grab the level? We want this thing straighter than a ruler. Aaron nodded, grabbing the long, yellow tool. He handed it to Noah, their fingers brushing again. This time, the touch was fleeting, but the warmth remained. He noticed a faint flush on Noah's cheeks, or maybe it was just the exertion. As Noah meticulously checked the level, Aaron found himself watching him more closely. The way his brow furrowed in concentration, the way his muscles flexed under his shirt as he adjusted the cabinet. The sweat on Noah's skin seemed to gleam under the work light, making him appear even more vibrant, more alive. A little to the left, Noah instructed, his voice back to its usual cheerful tone, though Aaron detected a subtle undertone he hadn't heard before. No, your left, not the cabinet's left. Are you always this directionally challenged, Mr. Graphic Designer? Aaron chuckled, grateful for the return to their playful banter. It helped to dissipate some of the new tension, to normalize things. Hey, I deal with pixels, not compass points. Besides, you're the expert here. I'm just the humble assistant. Humble, maybe, Noah retorted, giving the cabinet a firm tap. But definitely not directionally gifted. He winked. All right, hold it steady. I'm going to start drilling. The whirring of the drill filled the kitchen, momentarily silencing their banter. Aaron held the cabinet firmly, feeling the vibrations as Noah secured it to the wall. He could feel the warmth of Noah's body as he leaned in, close enough that Aaron could smell the faint scent of wood and sweat, and something else, something clean and inviting. Even with the teasing, the underlying current of unspoken feelings was undeniable. Their jokes now felt like a thinly veiled dance, a way to navigate the new landscape that had opened between them. When Noah asked Aaron to pass him a specific type of screw, their hands met over the small box, and their fingers intertwined for a beat longer than strictly necessary. Both pulled away quickly, but the quiet awareness remained. You know, Aaron said, trying to sound casual as he watched Noah expertly use a stud finder. You make this look easy. I probably would have put a screw through a water pipe by now. Noah laughed, a genuine, warm sound. That's why you hire the pros, Aaron. We've made all those mistakes already, so you don't have to. He looked at Aaron, his gaze lingering for a moment. Besides, you're a good learner, and you don't complain too much, which is a bonus. I could complain, Aaron challenged playfully, but then who would help you lift these heavy things? Ah, a valid point, Noah conceded, a smile playing on his lips. See, we're a team. A very sweaty, slightly dusty, but highly efficient team. The words hung in the air at the team. Aaron liked the sound of that. It felt good, right? They continued installing the next cabinet, the work flowing smoothly. But underneath the surface, a new kind of energy buzzed, a quiet hum of possibility. The teasing was still there, but now it was layered with something deeper, a sense of intimacy that made Aaron's heart beat a little faster. The installation of the base cabinets continued, each one adding to the clean, modern look Aaron had envisioned. The work was still demanding, but the rhythm they'd established, a mix of focused effort and light-hearted banter, made the hours fly by. The sun began to dip, casting long shadows across the kitchen floor, now dusted with fine wood particles. "All right, partner," Noah announced, wiping his hands on a rag. "Time for the grand finale of the day, the first upper cabinet. These are a bit trickier because, well, gravity, and they need to be perfectly level with each other, or your OCD will kick in every time you reach for a coffee mug." Aaron chuckled. "You know me too well. My coffee mugs deserve a perfectly level home." He eyed the cabinet, which looked deceptively light. "What do we get up there?" "Teamwork, my friend," Noah said, already moving to grab a step stool. "I'll get it roughly into position, and you'll hold it steady while I mark the mounting points. Then we'll secure it. But this first one needs a little finesse. It's going right above where the sink will be." Noah hoisted the cabinet with surprising ease, balancing it on the step stool. Aaron moved in, ready to support it. "Okay, so I just hold it like this?" he asked, gripping the bottom edge. "Exactly," Noah replied, stepping around him. "But it needs to go up a touch higher on this side, and over a hair." He paused, studying the alignment. "Tell you what, I'll guide your hands. It'll be easier to get it perfectly straight." Before Aaron could respond, Noah stepped in directly behind him. Aaron felt the warmth of Noah's chest against his back, the solid presence, a comforting shock. Noah's arms reached around him, his hands covering Aaron's on the cabinet, guiding them upward. "Feel that," Noah murmured, his voice low and close to Aaron's ear, sending a shiver down Aaron's spine. "Just a tiny lift on this corner, like you're nudging a cloud." Aaron's breath caught. He could feel Noah's strong hands over his, the subtle pressure guiding his grip. The scent of sweat and sawdust was stronger now, mixed with something else, a clean, masculine smell that made Aaron's head swim slightly. He was acutely aware of every point of contact. Noah's chest against his back, his forearms pressed against Aaron's, his fingers overlapping Aaron's on the cabinet. It was an intimate embrace, disguised as instruction. "Perfect," Noah whispered, his voice a soft rumble. Aaron felt Noah's chin brush the top of his head as Noah leaned to get a better look. "Hold it right there. Don't move a muscle, soldier." Aaron barely dared to breathe. His heart was thumping a rhythm against his ribs. He felt the tension in Noah's muscles as he held the cabinet, the shared effort making their bodies press even closer. This wasn't just working together. This was a dance, a careful, deliberate intertwining. He could feel the heat radiating from Noah's body, and a dizzying awareness settled over him. It was a domestic space, stripped bare, raw, and suddenly profoundly intimate. He found himself wishing the moment would never end. Aaron held the cabinet steady, acutely aware of Noah's solid presence behind him, Noah's hand still guiding his. The low rumble of Noah's voice in his ear was both instructional and strangely hypnotic. The warmth of their bodies pressed together, the scent of sweat and sawdust, created a bubble of intimacy that felt both unexpected and utterly right in the heart of Aaron's stripped-down kitchen. "Hold it just like that," Noah repeated, his voice barely a whisper. Aaron felt Noah's head shift slightly, then a small pressure against his ear as Noah seemed to be looking over his shoulder, checking the level one last time. "Perfect. Don't let go until I tell you." Aaron's muscles tensed, not just from holding the cabinet, but from the effort of suppressing a shiver that wanted to run down his spine. He focused on the smooth, cool surface of the cabinet, trying to keep his breath even. His heart hammered a steady rhythm against his ribs. Then, Noah's arms moved, pulling back slightly from guiding Aaron's hands. Aaron braced himself for the space to open between them, for Noah to step back and break the intense closeness. But Noah didn't step back right away. Instead, as his hands left Aaron's, one of Noah's hands descended, coming to rest gently on Aaron's hip. It wasn't a firm grip or a squeeze, but a soft, warm press. It stayed there, a silent anchor for a moment too long. A moment that stretched, expanding into an eternity, filled with unspoken questions and possibilities. Aaron's breath hitched again, this time audibly. The world around them seemed to dim, the sounds of the neighborhood fading away, leaving only the sound of his own thrumming pulse and the gentle, persistent pressure of Noah's hand on his hip. It was a domestic space, yes, but in that instant, it felt like the most private, most charged place on earth. He felt the heat of Noah's palm through the thin fabric of his shirt, a comforting weight that sent a thrill through him. It was a possessive touch, yet incredibly tender. He could almost feel the calluses on Noah's hand, a testament to his hard work, now softened by unexpected intimacy. Aaron risked a glance over his shoulder, but Noah's face was turned slightly away, his gaze seemingly fixed on the cabinet, or perhaps on something just beyond it. Yet the hand remained. It was a silent challenge, an unspoken question, a bold declaration disguised as an accidental touch. The cabinet was secured, the screws tightened, the work completed, but Noah's hand didn't move. The silence grew, thick and potent. Aaron wondered if he should say something, move, break the spell. But he found he couldn't. He wanted it to stay, this quiet, electrifying connection. Finally, after what felt like an age, Noah's hand slowly lifted from Aaron's hip. The warmth faded, leaving a ghost of its presence behind. Noah took a small step back, creating a sliver of space, but the intimacy of the moment lingered, a tangible thing in the air between them. "There," Noah said, his voice a little rougher than before, as if he too was catching his breath. He cleared his throat. "That one's solid. Not going anywhere." Aaron simply nodded, unable to form words, his gaze still fixed on where Noah's hand had been. The skin there still tingled, a silent echo of the touch that had just passed. The lingering warmth of Noah's hand on Aaron's hip, followed by its slow departure, left Aaron breathless. He stood frozen, the tingle on his skin a vivid reminder of the intimate moment. Noah had taken a small step back, clearing his throat, his voice a little rougher than usual. "That one's solid. Not going anywhere," Noah had said, turning his attention fully to the newly secured cabinet. Aaron, however, couldn't quite shift his focus. He nodded, tried to appear nonchalant, but his heart was doing a frantic drum solo in his chest. He felt a jolt, a powerful surge of emotion, but he didn't pull away. He didn't want to. Instead, fueled by a sudden, daring impulse, he slowly turned his head to look at Noah. Noah was looking at the cabinet, but as Aaron's gaze found him, Noah slowly turned his head. Their eyes met. In Noah's eyes, Aaron saw it, a deep, warm knowing. There was no surprise, no awkwardness, just a soft understanding that seemed to acknowledge everything that had just passed between them. A slow, gentle smile spread across Noah's face, a smile that reached his eyes and made them crinkle at the corners. It wasn't a playful, teasing grin this time, but something deeper, more tender, and undeniably intimate. It was a smile that said, "I know what just happened, and I'm glad it did." Aaron felt his own lips curve into a hesitant, mirroring smile. A blush crept up his neck and warmed his cheeks, but he didn't look away. He couldn't. The connection in that gaze was too strong, too compelling. It felt like a secret shared, a silent conversation that spoke volumes without a single word. The air in the kitchen, already charged, now hummed with an almost unbearable sweetness. The dust, the tools, the unfinished walls, all faded into the background. There was only Aaron, Noah, and the electric current flowing between them. Noah held his gaze for another long moment, his smile unwavering, before he finally broke eye contact, turning back to the cabinet with a small, contented sigh. He picked up a measuring tape, the familiar clatter of metal against what a welcome return to the practical. "All right, let's get the next one prepped," Noah said, his voice back to its normal, cheerful tone, but with an underlying current of warmth that Aaron now recognized. "We're making good progress, Aaron." You're a natural at this cabinet wrangling business. Aaron nodded, still feeling a little dazed. Just trying to keep up with the master, he managed, his voice a bit breathy. He watched Noah work, his movements fluid and strong. The playful teasing had returned, but it was different now. It was infused with the memory of that touch, that smile, that shared gaze. Every brush of their arms, every time Noah leaned in to explain something, carried a new weight, a deeper meaning. The domestic space of the kitchen was no longer just a project. It was becoming a crucible for something new and exciting between them. Aaron found himself eagerly anticipating every moment, every touch, every shared glance, wondering what else this renovation would build besides a new kitchen. The warm, knowing smile from Noah, a silent acknowledgement of the spark that had just passed between them, lingered in the air even after he'd turned back to the task at hand. Aaron found himself mirroring that smile, a shy, internal glow spreading through him. The professional barrier between client and contractor had thinned, revealing a tantalizing glimpse of something more. "All right, cabinet number 1 is officially a success," Noah declared, patting the installed unit. He grabbed another flat-pack box. "Now for its twin brother. Unless you want a kitchen with only one upper cabinet, which I hear is all the rage in minimalist circles." Aaron laughed, a little breathlessly. "As much as I appreciate minimalism, I think I need a bit more storage than that. My famous spatula collection demands proper housing." Noah chuckled, his eyes twinkling as he glanced at Aaron. "Ah, yes, the spatulas. A national treasure, I'm sure. We wouldn't want them feeling neglected." His teasing was back, but now it had a different ring to it. It was lighter, softer, infused with the memory of the recent intimacy. Every word, every glance, felt like it carried a secret message, a private joke only they understood. As they began assembling the second upper cabinet, the work resumed its methodical pace, but the undercurrent of unspoken feelings remained. When Noah leaned in to explain how a hinge worked, his arm brushed Aaron's, and this time, neither of them flinched or pulled away. The contact was brief, but it felt like an invitation, a gentle confirmation of the heightened awareness between them. "You know, for a graphic designer, you're surprisingly good with a drill," Noah remarked, watching Aaron screw in a piece with newfound confidence. "Maybe you're in the wrong line of work. We could start a kitchen remodel and design empire. Think of the uniforms." Aaron grinned, enjoying the playful fantasy. "Only if the uniform involves really comfortable pants and promises of ample cold beverages. And no early mornings, please." "Demanding, aren't we?" Noah teased, nudging Aaron lightly with his elbow. "All right, fine. Comfortable pants and coffee. But the early mornings are non-negotiable if we want to conquer the kitchen world." Their laughter filled the still dusty room, a comfortable, easy sound. The work was physical, requiring focus, but their conversation never stopped flowing. It was a dance of words and actions, each movement a subtle acknowledgement of the growing connection. Aaron found himself stealing glances at Noah when he thought Noah wasn't looking, admiring the way his brow furrowed in concentration, the way his muscles worked beneath his t-shirt. He also noticed Noah's eyes lingering on him a little longer sometimes, a warmth in his gaze that went beyond professional courtesy. The teasing wasn't just playful. It was almost flirtatious, a way to test the boundaries, to see how far they could push without breaking the comfortable bubble they were creating. The moment of intense closeness had broken, called away by the practical demands of the next cabinet. But it hadn't disappeared. Instead, it had settled into the background, a new hum beneath their playful banter, a deeper layer of meaning to every shared laugh and every casual touch. The kitchen was slowly transforming, and so too was their relationship, building steadily, piece by deliberate piece. The day deepened into evening, but the momentum in the kitchen never truly waned. One by one, the new cabinets, both base and upper, found their rightful places. The bare studs were gradually covered by sleek, modern panels, transforming the space from a skeletal framework into a promise of domestic elegance. The rhythmic sounds of drilling, measuring, and soft thuds filled the air, punctuated by their easy conversation and laughter. Aaron was tired, a deep, satisfying ache in his muscles, but he felt a profound sense of accomplishment. His shirt was once again smudged with dust, and a thin layer of grime clung to his forearms, but he barely noticed. The transformation unfolding before his eyes was exhilarating, and sharing the effort with Noah made it all the more special. Noah, too, showed signs of a long day. His hair was even messier than usual, and he ran a hand through it often, leaving streaks of sawdust in its wake. Sweat had plastered strands to his temples, and his t-shirt clung to his broad shoulders. Yet his energy remained infectious, his smiles frequent, and his teasing still light, albeit now laced with that deeper, unspoken current. "All right, last one for the night," Noah announced, securing the final upper cabinet with a triumphant whir of his drill. He stepped back, wiping his brow. "Behold, Aaron, the beginnings of your culinary kingdom." Aaron took a step back too, surveying their handiwork. The new cabinets gleamed faintly in the dimming light, a stark contrast to the old, tired kitchen they had started with. It was far from finished, but the shape of his dream kitchen was now undeniably there. "Wow," he breathed, a genuine smile spreading across his face. "It looks amazing, Noah. Really, thank you." Noah grinned, a tired but happy expression. "Team effort, my friend. You're a pretty good apprentice, though I still think you try to put that last screw in upside down." Aaron playfully nudged him. "Hey, I blame the low light, and maybe a slight case of fatigue." "Fair enough," Noah conceded, his eyes soft. "It has been a long day. We've earned a break." He started gathering his tools, placing them carefully back into his organized belt. The kitchen, even in its unfinished state, felt different now. It was no longer a cold construction zone, but a space imbued with their shared effort, their sweat, their laughter, and the quiet electricity that had sparked between them. It felt intimate, like a secret room they had built together. The domestic space, once purely Aaron's, now felt shared, infused with Noah's presence. As Noah packed up, Aaron watched him, a comfortable silence settling between them. The exhaustion was there, but it was a good kind of tired, the kind that came from hard, satisfying work. The faint scent of wood and Noah's subtle cologne filled the air, a familiar and now comforting aroma. Noah straightened up, stretching his back with a groan. "Well, that's a wrap for today. We've made fantastic progress. Tomorrow, we can start thinking about countertops and maybe even a temporary sink." He looked at Aaron, his smile gentle. "You ready for a good night's rest?" Aaron met his gaze, feeling a warmth spread through him that had nothing to do with the day's physical exertion. "More than ready. Thanks again, Noah, for everything." He meant more than just the cabinets. Noah's smile softened further. "Anytime, Aaron. Anytime." The last cabinet was installed, and the kitchen, though still a work in progress, hummed with a new energy. Aaron watched Noah efficiently pack up his tools, each item returned to its rightful place in the canvas belt or toolbox. The soft clinking of metal and plastic was the only sound in the twilight kitchen, save for the distant chirping of crickets outside. "Well, that's a wrap for today. We've made fantastic progress," Noah had said, his smile gentle. "Tomorrow, we can start thinking about countertops and maybe even a temporary sink. You ready for a good night's rest?" Aaron, still feeling the lingering warmth of their day's work and the unspoken connection, met Noah's gaze. "More than ready. Thanks again, Noah, for everything." He meant it. For the help, for the laughter, for the unexpected spark. Noah's smile softened further, his eyes holding Aaron's for a beat longer than strictly necessary. "Anytime, Aaron. Anytime." He finished packing the last of his smaller tools, securing the lid of his toolbox with a soft click. Then, instead of heading straight for the door, Noah straightened up, turning fully towards Aaron. He paused, standing just a few feet away amidst the dust sheets and discarded cardboard. The space between them felt charged, silent. The playful banter, the easy jokes, the shared grunts of effort, all fell away, leaving only a quiet understanding. Noah's gaze was soft, open, and it held a question, a warmth that resonated deep within Aaron. There was no need for words. The lingering touch on Aaron's hip, the shared glances, the comfortable intimacy of working shoulder to shoulder all day. It had built something undeniable between them. Aaron felt his heart flutter. He didn't look away, holding Noah's gaze, letting the silence speak. He could see the tiredness in Noah's eyes, but also a deep contentment. And something else, something hopeful. Noah took a small step closer, not invading Aaron's space, but simply diminishing the distance between them. His eyes drifted from Aaron's eyes to his lips, and then back again, a subtle, almost imperceptible movement that spoke volumes. The scent of wood, sweat, and Noah's clean scent was a comforting embrace in the quiet kitchen. Aaron swallowed, a nervous lump in his throat. He wanted to say something, anything, but the right words wouldn't come. Perhaps no words were needed. The domestic space, once filled with the sounds of demolition and construction, was now filled with the weight of unsaid feelings, a quiet anticipation. Finally, Noah broke the spell, a soft, almost imperceptible sigh escaping his lips. He gave Aaron a small, gentle nod, his smile still present, but now tinged with a hint of wistful regret, as if he too wished the day didn't have to end. "Well," Noah said, his voice a little huskier than before, "I should probably head out. Get some rest. We got another big day tomorrow." He turned towards the door, but his steps were slow, almost reluctant. Aaron watched him go, feeling a mix of longing and excitement. The understanding that had passed between them was a silent promise, a warm ember in the quiet of his transforming home. Noah's departure left the kitchen suddenly quiet, the comfortable hum of shared work replaced by a silence that felt heavy with absence. Aaron stood for a moment, listening to the crunch of Noah's truck tires on the gravel driveway as he pulled away. The faint scent of sawdust and Noah's cologne still lingered in the air, a phantom presence that made Aaron feel both wistful and excited. He looked around the kitchen, now bathed in the soft glow of a single work light. The newly installed cabinets stood proud and sleek, a testament to their combined effort. But it wasn't just the physical transformation that held Aaron's attention. It was the echoes of the day, the memory of every touch, every shared glance, every laugh. The warmth of Noah's hand on his hip, that brief, electrifying moment when time seemed to stop, replayed vividly in Aaron's mind. He could still feel the phantom pressure, the subtle heat that had sent a shiver down his spine. It wasn't just a contractor's touch. It was something intimate, deliberate, and full of unspoken meaning. And then, that smile, warm, knowing, and undeniably tender. It had promised something more than just a perfectly remodeled kitchen. Aaron ran a hand over the smooth surface of a new cabinet door. This kitchen, once a source of dread, had become a canvas for a different kind of creation, a burgeoning connection he hadn't dared to hope for. He thought about Noah's easy laughter, his playful teasing that had slowly morphed into something flirtatious, the way his eyes would linger for just a moment too long. He remembered Noah's enthusiasm, his patience as he guided Aaron through tricky steps, the comfortable rhythm they had found together. It wasn't just about the work. It was about the shared experience, the growing intimacy in the domestic space that was once solely Aaron's. Now, Noah's presence felt woven into the very fabric of the renovation. Walking over to the window, Aaron looked out into the darkening evening. The moon was a sliver in the sky, casting a soft glow. He pictured Noah driving home, maybe humming a tune, or thinking about the next steps for the kitchen. Did Noah feel it too? This undeniable pull, this quiet understanding that transcended hammers and drills. Aaron felt a smile tug at his lips. This wasn't just a kitchen remodel anymore. It was an adventure, a discovery, and Noah was at the heart of it. The memory of Noah's lingering touch and warm smile settled deep within him, a comforting warmth in the quiet of his home. It hinted at possibilities far beyond new countertops and shiny appliances. It hinted at a future where this kitchen, once finished, might be a place not just for cooking, but for shared meals, laughter, and perhaps a deeper, more personal connection with the man who helped build it. He couldn't wait for tomorrow.